Good evening and welcome. I am Queenie, your host for this evening's ConquerHim.com live talk. This is our fourth week. Oh my gosh, we're about to say goodbye. This is the last time we'll meet and the last time we'll get together to share wisdom. And tonight is really special and awesome because I have one of our writers here with us to present, and she went really all out to talk about a topic of designing your role in an FLR. She is the presenter this evening. We'll let her go ahead and steal the show, and then we'll come in at the end and ask any questions before we head on over to Facebook group to talk about what she was like. So, hey, Ann, how are you?
Hello, Miss Queenie. Thank you for having me.
I'm so
I'm doing
excited to see
great.
what
How
you're
are
going to
you?
teach us. I'm great. I'm looking forward to your presentation tonight. So let me let you get started with that.
Thank you very much. Well, again, I am Ann C. And I've been in a female-led relationship with my husband for 6 years. And I just want to share from, everything that I share here is definitely coming from my heart, and I hope that it helps whoever hears this message. So first I want to just talk about what I feel a female-led relationship means to me. And to me, it's about taking the stereotypical relationship that society and religion says that everyone should be in, where the male is the dominant leader of the household and the woman is to be in the submissive, supportive role, and really challenging that and putting it in reverse, where the female is that leader and that decision maker and that person that holds the family together and the dominant party. So when it comes to marriage, I think society has really suppressed women into just an emotional and physically useful being, and women have so much more to offer than that. And in my relationship, I'm able to express my spiritual, mental, and emotional strengths that most of us women naturally have, and where I am weak, my husband makes me stronger. And I do the same for him. So my objective for this class is to empower you to be the best partner, supporter that you can be in your current or your future female-led relationship. So the first question that I want to answer is, can a submissive man turn a submissive woman into a dominant? And this is something that can definitely happen, and I'm definitely a good example of that because I'm a naturally compliant person, especially in work. I'm usually the person that you go to and you want something done, and I get it done. And so, but in my household, I am the leader that delegates responsibility. So this is something that's definitely possible. And some ways that you can work with that potential and see if your submissive woman can be dominant. You can try first being her Prince Charming, because some women are submissive because they have spent all their life in the supporting role and putting everybody else's problems and needs and concerns before their own. So it's really something wonderful to have a man come along and treat her like a princess after she's felt like a peasant all of her life. And she just needs that support in her life so she can be the true leader that she really is deep down inside. You can also boost her confidence because she may be submissive because she has been made to feel insecure about herself and her abilities in the past. So when you do come along and tell her how smart she is and how great she is at making decisions, and when she makes those decisions, you support her and go through with them, this can give her the confidence that she needs to be in that more dominant role. So some women may have been made to believe all their life that they can't do anything, and they just need that person in their life that believes in them and depends on them. Now, on the other hand, some women can or don't want to lead. Some women have the same feelings that you do, in that they want to just support their partner and submit to them, and that's what makes them happy. So trying to put her in a dominant role will make both of you miserable. And some women are irresponsible and selfish, and they're not able to lead. So leading takes a lot of sacrifice and consideration, and some women are not ready or not willing or wanting to do that. Also, does the female that you're with or your goddess? Does she have a vision or does she have goals? This is a great sign that this initially submissive woman will make a great transition into a more dominant role. She knows what she wants, and she has just never had the opportunity or the support to get it. And you are just the type of loving man that she needs in her life to excel forward. So in summary, it is definitely possible for a submissive man to turn a submissive woman dominant. Sometimes by simply submitting to her and supporting her, treating her like a queen, falling back, letting her take the lead, supporting and following her directions. But it is not always that simple in every case, and you have to just be discerning and seeing that potential in your goddess. So next, we look at the expectations. So are there certain expectations in every female-led relationship? So as you know, every relationship and situation will be different, but there are a few things that you can expect when going in your female-led relationship. One of them may be, will be female sexual dominance. Now, whether it's a male or female or animals or whatever, dominance is usually established during sex. Now, I'm not exactly talking about the same dynamics of femdom where a male is subject to anal and spankings. It's not always that, though it can be, but not always. It's just about the woman being in control of her body and her pleasure being the primary focus, but she is also not selfish to your pleasure either. Next, you should definitely expect integrity. Never let anyone that is not deserving take advantage of you, even though it can happen. Some women are just looking for someone that they can just take advantage of and use. And as a submissive man, you have so many great attributes and great things to offer a woman. And even though you may enjoy being used at times, you have to make sure that what you are sharing is with someone who is going to take what you give them and appreciate it and not depreciate its value. You can also expect guidance and correction from your female-led relationship. A good leader does not just boss people around. They provide guidance and solutions, corrections, and consequences. You also definitely need to expect love and appreciation, of course. Love is not just a word that you say, it is an action. So when you love a person, you protect them and you show affection and appreciation. So these are not all that comes with your female-led relationship, but you should expect at least these things when going into your female-led relationship. So next, we look at how do you decide which responsibilities each person has. So a true leader knows how to see the strengths and weaknesses in a person and delegate responsibilities accordingly. So you may fall into the responsibilities organically, just naturally fall into them based on what you do good and what you enjoy. But if not, and it's something that needs to be established, as the leader, the female should delegate responsibilities accordingly, where they look at your strengths and their strengths, or what goals that you have. Like for me, my goals are to really just save money so that we can later invest it. So I'm more in charge of the finances, even though my husband makes the money for the household. He's not really interested in having all the responsibilities of what bills are paid when and how much money we're going to put into savings and what we're going to spend on food. I handle all of that. And our household runs smoothly. Now, one thing, and I know it's not all about the man doing household chores, but one thing my husband does a lot better than me is laundry. I never sort in the past, before I met him, I never sorted out my laundry the correct way, faded colors and stuff like that. But with him, he does everything perfectly with laundry. So he took the role of that and taught me to do it better. So it's all about doing what is beneficial for your household, not what everyone expects you to do or what you're embarrassed to do because of what other people think. It's what's going to benefit your household. Okay, so what could hinder a couple from having a successful female-led relationship? I really love this quote that says, just like a shoe, if someone is meant for you, they will just fit. No forcing, no struggling, and no pain. And this goes back kind of to the Cinderella story and finding the woman or the man that is the right fit for you. And you shouldn't try to force something to work. If you try to force a woman into the submissive role, the dominant role, and she's not ready for that, or she doesn't want that, but you love her physically, sexually, and her personality, it's still not going to work if you're trying to force that. So you want things to kind of flow. If they're going to be meant to be, it's nothing that has to be forced. Okay, so finally, how can a couple create a successful female-led relationship? Now, different things work for different people. So do not think you have to be locked into these certain rules or certain box with your relationship. We all know that the basics of any successful relationship, you have to have love, trust, respect, and also effective communication with your partner. But 3 things that I think will make you have a successful female-led relationship would be to be honest about your feelings, especially when you're asked. You may think you are pleasing your woman by always being agreeable, but your partner asks you what you are thinking and how you feel about their decision that they are making. They are not always wanting to hear, whatever you think is best, honey, or whatever you want, babe. They don't want to hear that, because in the long run, your woman will start to make decisions only based on their perspective and won't even bother to ask you what you want. And of course, you don't want that. Another thing that will give you a successful female-led relationship, is respecting her body as her body. Most women are told all their life that her body is for a man's pleasure and giving birth. And although her body can give the ultimate pleasure for a man and bring life into this planet, she should not be made to feel that her body is a tool, but her body is a miracle, and her body is hers, and that you appreciate that she is sharing her body with you. And lastly, don't be boring. I know sometimes when you are following her lead and you give her everything that she asks for and everything she wants, you may think that this is enough and it is making her happy. And the result is that you become predictable. So try to keep the spontaneity and the relationship lively by doing some things that are out of the ordinary thing that you do day to day, by maybe bringing her flowers to work or bringing flowers home from work, treating her to a spa day, or just doing anything that you don't do in the ordinary, because you don't want to get boring, because you may think that you are pleasing her because you give her everything that she wants, everything she asks for, but it will get boring after a while, trust me. So that is it for my presentation. I definitely thank Ms. Queenie for having me, and I thank everyone for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to chime in at this time.
Oh my gosh, what an awesome presentation. Thank you so much, Ann. Like, you really hit the ball out of the park with this one. I appreciate you answering all these questions. Does anyone else have any questions? Because I do. I have some questions I want to chit chat about. Okay, well, while y'all thinking of your questions, let me go ahead and take out my list. Let's talk. The first thing that really stood out to me was that you are I was a bit surprised when you said that a woman can turn into a dominant if she's not initially so, because I tend to think that if it's your natural nature to be compliant, that it would be difficult for you to take that role. Although I know I have interviewed women that it has happened to, that has happened to be, submissive because that's what society taught her, and then was prodded along into this dominant role. But I'm interested to hear about your story. Like, did you at first think something was wrong with your husband when he was telling you, go ahead, take charge?
Yes, it caused a lot of friction in the beginning of our relationship because I was in church too at the time, so they tell you the man is the head of the household, but I was the one making all the decisions, and I was better at making the decisions, and sometimes I didn't go along with his decisions because I felt that my way was better, and I just really felt he was weak. I felt that he was not doing what he was supposed to. I was trying to force him to be that dominant role, and it just wasn't working. We were very unhappy. It was a lot of arguing, and
well, why would you
me
stay
just
with
looking
him?
at why would I loved him. I really
Oh,
loved,
okay.
and I did love what I love what he did for me. I really did, but I was trying to change him into what, again, I felt society and what, again, the religion I was a part of, what we should be. So me trying to change him is what caused the friction in our relationship. Not exactly what he was doing, because I enjoyed that he could come home from work and he wants to still do all the household chores and tell me, don't do anything, I'm going to do everything when you come home from work. But I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing these things. Or when we go out to places, I'm the one who speaks up, and because of the way I want things to be done. And I mean, even though I did want him to speak up, but I was more effective in getting things done when I did speak up. But I felt that's not the way that it's supposed to be. So that's what caused the friction in our relationship, instead of me just letting it. And then when I realized, which part of being and discovering your website helped me to see that we trying to fight against we were is what was causing us problems. Now that we have established that I'm the leader in the relationship and I'm doing a good job at it, we stay in our lane, we do what we're supposed to do, everything runs more smoothly than it did when we're trying to force something that wasn't going to be.
Wow. Okay, so tell me a little bit about the transition of you awakening to the fact that you are the dominant one. Did you begin to look at him differently? Because before you're like, oh, you can't do anything. What's wrong with you? So when did you start
Yes,
looking at him differently and becoming more appreciative? How did your relationship change at that point?
it definitely got better. I started to respect him more. That was another thing. I disrespected him more at times when I felt like, okay, you should be better. You shouldn't do everything I tell you to do. You shouldn't. You should speak up more if I tell you. I stopped doing that. I started respecting him more and admiring him for who he is, and realizing that this is something that he wants to do. He wants to serve me. He gets pleasure in his life out of serving me and seeing that I'm happy. Not exactly serving me, but you know what I mean, like just making sure that I'm happy in whatever that he needs to do. If he can do it and it's in his ability, that's what makes him happy.
So then you started falling in love with him at that point.
Exactly. Our relationship is better than it has ever been now that we have that understanding that it's no more trying to pressure anything. Whatever
Wow.
lane that you're in and what you're doing, we go with it.
Do you ever feel that you're taking advantage of the situation and being a bitch or being selfish, or do you ever get an inclination to just run with it, like, oh, let's jump off this building. You know what I mean?
I try to be in all parts of my life. I try to be as honest and sincere as possible. So if I do feel myself, and I do sometimes, just like, okay, go give me this, go give me that, do this, do that. I try to stop myself, because anything that I ask him to do, I already know that he will do it. So I do have to question my motives if I'm asking him to do something, or ask him, is that okay? Is it okay with you? Are you sure? Because I'm not perfect, and I know sometimes I may go over the line, or I am being a bitch, so, but I still try to question my motives of what I'm doing, because and I've told him this before, if I want to take advantage of you, I could, but I'm not going to do that to you because I care about you and I appreciate what you're doing for me. So it is possible to do. So as the female, you have to be aware of that. That's why I say about integrity. The person you with, or with the female that these men choose, have to have that integrity, because you will be tempted to take full advantage of this person. And you can't.
Let's talk about another point you brought up that really touched my heart. It was later on in your talk. You talked about respecting her body as her body. That's not something that I've heard anyone bring up in all the interviews that I've done. Can you talk a little bit more? And remember, we're still screen sharing, so this is all being recorded.
Okay.
Yeah. So can you talk a little bit more about that one?
Well, that's one thing that I don't know. Me feeling like the dominant person in a relationship, I just feel like when it comes to sex, I am the person that is in control at that time. I don't do the things like the anal things and stuff like that, because that's not what he likes. So I definitely want everything to be consensual, but it's on my terms. I don't know how to say it. I don't know if this would be for everybody, because maybe if a woman, she could still be the dominant, but maybe she's not as sexually experienced. I don't know. But I do think for the male that if he's with a woman that's dominant, you're going to have to respect her, because when you try to, because in marriage, sometimes, and we've been taught, and especially with religion, that your body, when you're married, you belong to that person. They're supposed to be able to get it whenever they want, do whatever they want. And I don't believe that. I just still believe that my body is precious, and what I have to give you is the best thing that you ever feel on earth. I can do with my body things that no man can do, which is, or life into this world. So my body is precious to me. So I'm the only person that has control over my body, and I give him the same respect of his body. I'm not going to do anything to your body that you don't want me to do. Maybe that's something that I guess is a personal choice for us, and I guess if in the person's relationship they have to come to an understanding of that. I don't feel I have any control over his body, what he wants to do. If he wants me to do something too, of course he will allow me to do whatever that I want, except for the anal things. But I don't feel that I have that. I'm gonna do whatever I want to you, because you're not gonna do that to me. And maybe that's just me personally, but I know as feeling that I'm the dominant person in this relationship. You're not going to feel like just because I'm married to you that you have control over my body. I don't know.
Yeah, and I completely understand I understand exactly where you're coming from. Like, you're giving him the same respect that you would want for yourself.
Right. Exactly.
So you don't have to do all of that sexual training that most of the people who are involved in FLRs and femdom relationships do? Like, what are some of the punishments that you give? Do you offer punishments in your female-led relationship?
The punishment that I usually do is just cutting myself off emotionally from the one. No, let me rephrase that. Not cutting myself off emotionally, but just not giving that affection and attention that my spouse wants. Now, for somebody else, it might be different. I don't give the affection. I don't give the sex. That's something that is important to him, and maybe that is why I take back control of my body, because that is something important to him. So I guess that's something that I do use as that can be a punishment. That no, when you respect me and doing what I need you to do, then I will give you my body, because I'm giving you something. It's not something that you are entitled to. But I understand as my husband that your pleasure is coming from me, and I get my pleasure from you. But you're not going to get that pleasure if you're not doing the things that I want you to do or need you to do.
As you go through the site and are exposed to the different dynamics and relationship issues and things like that, what has surprised you or made you laugh, or what is really different about your relationship than the rest of the types of relationships and things people do? Because I just want to show that every female-led relationship is different, and the way you're leading it is the way you're leading it, and it's correct for you. So I just wanted to know what delighted you, or what made you laugh, or like, that's crazy.
What made me laugh at other people's that I read on the
Yeah,
website?
yeah. Other people or whatever you found, they're like, yeah, that's crazy. That's how they do it.
My probably the most thing is the chastity, the like putting the actual chastity. I don't even know what you would call it.
Chastity lock,
Machine. I
like
don't
lock.
know. Putting the lock and key on there, like that's that was a little much for me. And also the when I saw some guys said that they did not initially like anal, but the their female got them into it, and they don't really enjoy it, but they do it for them. You know, I guess they're doing what they can to please the other person, but that's not. I don't know. I just want to because I'm gonna want my body to be respected. I'm gonna respect the other person's body. I feel like me being a leader is not for me to be just selfishly getting what I want all the time. As a leader, I have people depending on me because, and I read it like with some people's female-led relationships, they're only dominant or leading in the bedroom only. And when it comes to the household, it's both of them, leading. So, but for my relationship, I'm leading out of the bedroom and in the bedroom. So I have a lot of responsibilities, other than just me being selfish. When I make decisions, I have to think about everyone in my household, my husband, and everybody in my household. And they depend on me. I protect them, just like in, the regular, where the man's the dominant and he protects his family. He makes sure everyone has what they need, or I don't know. I do everything, not everything, but because I don't have the physical strength, of course, that my husband does, and he works very hard. And where I'm weak, he has that strength when it comes to the physical, and I have the strength when it comes to pretty much everything else. And not saying that he's not intelligent, because he is when it comes to you know certain things. He's very intelligent, and he takes care of that. Like, again, when something needs fixed, he's very intelligent when it comes to mechanical things, and he handles that. But when it comes to business and things of that nature, because I'm a very detailed person, I handle everything, and I'm just better at it. So I have more responsibility. I think if you're going to say you're going to be a female leader and you want your man to submit to you and obey you, but you're not, having those responsibilities outside of, I just want your body to do what I want to do with it. And then I don't know. I just think it's more to, and again, every relationship is different, but I think it's more to leading than just being selfish or just getting what you want from the other person.
So tell me a little bit about, you do have children, don't you?
Yes, I do. I do have children.
Okay, you have 2 children?
Yes, I have a daughter and I have a son.
Oh, okay. And them watching their mommy be dominant, how do you feel that it's impacting them?
They definitely look like, they definitely look to me if it's something that, needs to be done. I don't know how to describe it, where, if they're having a problem, they know mommy is going to take care of it. My husband, he works so much. He's at work most of the day. I mean, he really just, on the weekends is when we have our time. But anyway, my children, I don't know, they look to me for, for most things. And my daughter, she definitely has some of my personality of just, being more dominant. My son, he's laid back. I don't know, but he has a dominant personality himself when he's interacting with other people. So it hasn't affected him to where he feels like he needs to be in a submissive role too, because he's a man. Because of how the dynamics of our relationship is, he's dominant like myself, and my daughter, she's dominant as well. So I don't know. I just know that they have a lot of respect for me. I would say, I guess the way, a person would have more in the regular, dynamics of a female-led relationship, where it would be more respect for your father. You're more scared of what your father's going to say to you than with your mother. Even though I do still give that unconditional love as a mother, but I'm still a lot more strict and even more dominant when it comes to the children as well. My husband, they love my husband. He is the sweetest thing to them, and they wouldn't know what to do without him. But I'm still, I'm that stricter parent, that more dominant parent. But, my kids, they're both have a dominant personality as well. So
Do you ever have worries that your son will become a submissive man? Does it ever come into your mind like, oh, does it make you feel any kind of way to think of either of your children becoming submissive?
No, it doesn't, because I have told them if they do, and I especially told my son, if he does meet a woman that has my personality, just make sure that her heart is right. If she is more dominant than you, don't make sure that because even though again, he's dominant, but he could meet someone that's more dominant than him, and he loves them, he wants to be with them. Just make sure her heart is right. It's okay to submit to this woman if she's a good woman. You know what I'm saying? And even my daughter, if you meet a man and he's a good man and his heart is right, it doesn't matter if he's dominant or submissive or what role that you play. But I haven't told her that, but I speak to my son because he's a little older. But I just told him, you are more dominant, but if you do meet a woman that's like me, because, with his personality, again, I said he's laid back, and, he's more, physical with the things that he likes to do. So if he doesn't meet a woman that has a more, mental dominance than him, I feel if her heart is good, then that's fine.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, does
I
anyone
hope I'm
else
making sense.
you are definitely making sense, and you're answering questions that I've always wanted to ask. So I really appreciate all of this time and sharing all your life with me. You know what I'm saying? With us, rather.
Thank you.
Is there someone else who has a question, perhaps, for Ann C? She's been in the Facebook group helping us out for the past 4 weeks in case anybody needs anything and just adding her opinion in. So you've probably seen her, in there. If you have a question, go ahead and type in the chat box and ask your question because this is the last time you'll get to ask it. And we have her right here at our disposal. She created a great presentation today and answered so many questions for us. Like, I just feel like I'm wiser because I had this conversation with you. I really
I'm so glad
appreciate
to hear.
that,
That's what I
Ann.
wanted to. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to do is be a benefit and not just running my mouth because I can run my mouth.
Well, today you did it. You answered a lot of questions, and you showed us a totally different dynamic than what was presented last week, which I think was very important because I really want people to see the wide spectrum of what an
Right.
FLR can be, and you've done that great for us. So, if there are no other questions, oh no, we didn't. No, we didn't. What, Pablo? What didn't you do? Oh no, we don't. Sorry, I can't read. Excuse me. He said, no, we don't have any more questions. Thanks, Pablo. So if there's no one else who has any questions, we're going to go ahead and end this call at this point and make this meeting and presentation available in the group as soon as possible. So thanks everyone for joining. What's going to happen next? There is a final exam with questions from everything that we've learned. All of the discussion questions will be on there. Things that we should have written about, even if you didn't, questions from that will be on there. And that will be placed in the group by tomorrow. And after tomorrow, that is the only assignment left, and that is due on Friday night. And on Saturday nights, I will post the grades so you can find out how did you do on that quiz and everything. So I'm going to post that tomorrow, so make sure you look out for it. And then Saturday we'll meet and we'll say goodbye at 8 p.m. If you can join us, that's fine, for another phone conversation just like we're doing. And if you can't join us, then I appreciate you, and I'm saying it in advance. Thank you so much for joining us for this 4-week training session. If there's something that you still haven't figured out that you really wanted to a goal that you really wanted to happen before you started this program, please reach out to me. You have a few more days, and I'm here to answer all of your questions, and so is Ann C. So thanks, everybody. And let me see if I can do this because Ann C is the presenter. And have a great night, guys.
Bye.
All right, let me see, Ann.